Lecture 6. Selecting Employees. Here is the inspirational quote for this week. Let us always meet each other with smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. Mother Teresa. The learning objectives are as follows. Why careful selection is important. Why need to use tests at work. Different types of tests. Interviewing candidates. Other selection techniques. The first learning objective. Why careful selection is important. Recruitment and selection process. A long and not easy process. Example, it is said that Google gets about 1 million job applications per year, and hires less than 1%, 1 out of 130, to be exact. Google isn't necessarily looking for the smartest or most technically adept employees. More importantly, they want people who fit in with Google's creative, flexible, open-minded culture. The basics of testing and selecting employees. With a pool of applicants, your next step is to select the best person for the job. This usually means shortening the applicant pool by using employee selections tools including tests, interviews, and background checks. The main aim of employee selection is to achieve person-job fit. Why is careful selection important? First, doing so should lead to improved employee and organizational performance. No one wants to hire an incompetent. Few things are more important to a manager than putting the right person in the right job. Second, your own performance always depends partly on your subordinates. Hire employees who lack the necessary skills or who are obstructionist and your own performance and the firm's will suffer. Third, screening can help reduce dysfunctional behaviors at work. By one account, about 30% of all employees say they've stolen from their employers. In retail, employers apprehended about 1 out of every 28 workers for stealing. Fourth, it is costly to recruit and hire employees. Hiring and training even a clerk can cost $10,000 in fees and supervisory time. That's money wasted if the person doesn't work out. The second learning objective. Why need to use tests at work? Using tests at work. A test is an assessment intended to measure a test taker's knowledge, skill, aptitude, physical fitness, or classification in many other topics, for example, beliefs. A test may be administered verbally, on paper, on a computer, or in a confined area that requires a test taker to physically perform a set of skills. Employers use tests to measure a wide range of candidate attributes, including cognitive, mental, abilities, motor and physical abilities, personality and interests, and achievement, using tests at work. Example, the third learning objective. Different types of tests. The following types of tests can be used. Tests of cognitive abilities. Tests of motor and physical abilities. Tests which measure personality. Interest inventories. Achievement tests. Tests of cognitive abilities. Employers often want to assess a candidate's cognitive or mental abilities. Intelligence tests, such as IQ tests, are tests of general intellectual abilities. They measure not a single intelligence trait, but rather a range of abilities, including memory, vocabulary, and numeric ability. Memory test online, www.memtracks.com. Psychologists often measure intelligence with individually administered tests such as the Stanford Binet test or the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. Employers use tests such as the Wonderlic Personnel Test as quick measures of IQ for both individuals and groups of people. Free IQ tests are also available online. Please follow the links below. There are also measures of specific mental abilities. Psychologists often call tests in this category aptitude tests. For example, the figure tests applicants' understanding of basic mechanical principles. It may reflect a person's aptitude for jobs such as engineer. Tests of motor and physical abilities. There are many motor or physical abilities you might want to measure, such as finger dexterity, strength, and manual dexterity. The Stromberg dexterity test is an example. It measures the speed and accuracy of simple judgment as well as the speed of finger, hand, and arm movements. Measuring personality. A person's mental and physical abilities alone seldom explain his or her job performance. Other factors, such as motivation and interpersonal skills, are important, too. Most people are hired based on qualifications, but most are fired for non-performance. And non-performance, or performance, is usually the result of personal characteristics, such as attitude, motivation, and especially, temperament. Personality tests measure basic aspects of an applicant's personality, such as introversion, stability, and motivation. Many different tests, for example. For a structured sentence completion test. Guilford-Zimmermann survey. Myers-Briggs test. Eysenck personality test. Birkman method is available online at www.birkman.com. Interest inventories. Interest inventories compare one's interests with those of people in various occupations. Thus, when a person takes the Strong-Campbell interest inventory, he or she receives the report comparing his/her interests to those of people already in particular occupations. The goal of this assessment is to give insight into a person's interests, so that they may have less difficulty in deciding on an appropriate career choice for themselves. Achievement tests. An achievement test is a measure of what someone has learned. They measure knowledge in areas such as economics, marketing, or accounting. In addition to job knowledge, achievement tests can measure applicants' abilities. A typing test is one example. Most tests in school are achievement tests. The fourth learning objective. Interviewing candidates. Interviewing candidates. While not all employers use tests, it would be very unusual for a manager not to interview a prospective employee. An interview is a procedure designed to require information from a person's oral responses to oral inquiries. A selection interview is a selection procedure designed to predict future job performance on the basis of applicants' oral responses to oral inquiries. Steps in conducting an effective interview. Step 1. Structure the interview. Before starting the interview, your main focus should be on standardizing what you ask, and, ideally, what you look for as good, fair, and poor responses. Step 2. Review candidate's background. Before the interview, review the candidate's application and resume, and note any vague areas. Review the job specification. Start the interview with a clear picture of the traits of an ideal candidate. Step 3. Establish rapport, empathy. The point of the interview is to find out about the applicant. Start the interview by putting the person at ease. As a rule, all applicants, even drop-ins, should receive friendly, courteous treatment. Step 4. Ask questions. Try to follow your structured interview form, or questions you wrote out ahead of time. Do's and don'ts of interview questions. Don't ask questions that can be answered yes or no. Don't telegraph the desired answer, for instance, by nodding or smiling when the right answer is given. Don't interrogate the applicant as if person were a criminal. Don't monopolize the interview by rambling, nor let the applicant dominate the interview. Do ask open-ended questions. Do listen to the candidate to encourage him or her to express thoughts fully. Do draw out the applicant's opinions and feelings by repeating the person's last comment as a question, for example, "You didn't like your last job." Do ask for examples. For instance, if the candidate lists specific strengths or weaknesses, follow up with, "What are specific examples that demonstrate each of your strengths?" The fifth learning objective. Using other selection techniques. What kind of selection techniques can be used? Background investigations and reference checks, crime, etc. Honesty testing, polygraph tests. Graphology, handwriting analysis. Medical exams. Drug screening. Thank you for attention. Have a good day.